Welcome to the HR Empowerment Podcast, where we will uncover strategies and new insights from HR professionals who discuss up-to-date regulations, best practices, and the most pressing topics like diversity and equity, leadership, dealing with difficult situations, and much more that affect your bottom line and business. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back. It's Wendy Sellers, the HR lady, here with my co-host, JC.
Hi, Wendy.
Hey, JC. Sorry once again that you're stuck up in cold weather, and we're so happy, though, that you're here to warm up our souls.
I'll tell you what, it's the warmth that you bring to the table that keeps me alive. Let me tell you.
Oh, boy, he's digging deep. Hey, everybody. Thanks for coming back. We're here today with a very special guest, and we're going to be talking about keeping employees motivated to learn so that we can keep them. We can keep them engaged and we can keep them on our team. So today we have Dr. Carrie Graham. Hey, Carrie, how you doing?
I'm well, Wendy. Thanks for having me. And JC, thanks for bringing the warmth, you as well.
Oh, thank you.
Absolutely. Hey, so, let's just talk openly, which our listeners love, about you and how did you, fall into this space or intentionally climb into the space of keeping, adults motivated to learn?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I love to share my story. So I started my career as a healthcare provider. And as most people know, with being a healthcare provider, you've got continuing education units that you have to maintain. And it was early in my career, it was incredible, absolutely incredible as a healthcare provider. And then I started teaching as a professor. And what I found was the more seasoned I got, the worse the trainings got. Right. And so it was, what I realize now is, when you're a novice and you're new at your craft, all training is helpful and it's exciting and it keeps you motivated. And as the years went on, that seemed to fade away. And so during my 20 years teaching, I got my PhD in adult learning, and that started to answer the questions for me that, people are doing it wrong. Trainings, they're just missing the mark. And so with most people, or many people, I should say, in 2020, I was downsized and said, you know what? Now's my opportunity to leave healthcare fully and start helping other businesses. So I like to say I'm here to mend the world one bad training at a time.
That's awesome. It is true, though. I mean, sometimes I even struggle. I love to learn. And I have 3 degrees myself, climbed the ladder, all that. And I love to learn. But there's sometimes that I'm just like, yeah, it's not going to happen today. No, I have that on my calendar to read that or analyze that or research that. And I was like, nope, can't do it. I'm just not in that headspace. So what does your typical business look like that you're helping?
Yeah, so it's small and mid-sized businesses often, and that's really because they don't have the devoted teams and departments to support their work. So I work with them. All of them have some form of existing content, whether it's onboarding, training, or a program that needs to be revised and updated. And we jump in head first, and we have the hard conversation. For them, it's the hard conversation about who are the end users. And so frequently the immediate response is, oh, well, they're middle managers or they're trainers or, there's always this demographic information provided or a title. And I say, well, that's nice and good, but let's move beyond that. And let's really understand who these individuals are so that we're building something that really supports them and motivates them.
Interestingly, when a boss shows appreciation at work, 81% of employees feel motivated to work harder. And they're also 91% more likely to stay with an employer if they feel their contributions are valued. Engagement, it plays a crucial role too. Employees are 87% less likely to resign from a company if they feel engaged. However, a concerning 39% of employees feel underappreciated at work. Back to you.
Yep. Yeah.
Ding, 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 ding,
Mhm.
all the information. I was even going to jump in and jokingly say, oh, you mean we just can't create training based on somebody's title and never get to know them or know anything about them?
Right, right. And I tell people all the time, like, how many times have you looked at your wrist during training at your watch and thinking, I can't get this time back. This is a complete waste of my time. And we've all sat in those seats and asked ourselves those questions. But the person who's facilitating the training has also asked that same question, like, this is falling flat, this isn't working, the outcomes aren't going to be achieved. So it's a complex problem, but it can be solved, and it can be solved easily.
I love it. I don't know. Talking to your employees,
That's it.
right? It's
That's
really
it.
this whole communication thing keeps coming around in circles all the time.
All the time. And it really is about putting the person first. Honestly, my first conversations with clients are all about the end user. Who are they? What are their needs? What are their wants? What are potential barriers? And what are some existing support systems that are involved in their learning experience? And many times people don't know the answers to those questions. And to your point, Wendy, all you have to do is ask.
Right. Right. You may have to figure out a way to ask, right? You might need to change your communication a little bit, but you really do. You have to ask. And then again, pardon me for being so blunt, but my listeners know me. And then shut up and listen.
Absolutely. 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 And I'll add to that, not only because it's the same language, shut up and listen, but actually do something with what they're saying. Let's take it a step further. Don't just listen to what they're saying and let it fall up to the floor. You actually need to do something with that information.
Have you found since the pandemic that companies, regardless of their size, are finally listening, or are we still struggling to get some of them to listen?
Oh, they're still on the struggle bus. There are definitely some that are still struggling. And, part of it depends, I think, on what the training is about and what their issue is about. In 2020, coming off of 2019 and into 2020, everyone was doing DEI work. All companies, all businesses, we're going to do DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion training. And the reality is many organizations wanted to acknowledge that they did something performative. Right. They wanted to check a list. That really is not training. That's not helping people.
It's just throwing data down somebody's throat when they have no understanding of why this is happening, and they just think you're joining the media. So
Absolutely.
We could talk about that for hours. So let's not do that right now. But what I do want to talk about next in our next episode, I want to help our listeners understand the common misconceptions about adult learning. I can't talk. Common misconceptions about adult learning. Yeah. And I was looking at some of the stats before the show and I'm like, whoa, I sometimes struggle with these myself. So with that said, thanks for joining, everybody. We'll see you shortly.
Thank you for joining the HR Empowerment Podcast, brought to you by Aurora Training Advantage. We hope you've gained new insight and strategies to navigate the HR profession. We look forward to you joining us again on the HR Empowerment Podcast.